If we were to wipe the slate clean and to create a system of governance that really centers people of color, particularly Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, what system would really lift up those voices to make sure that those concerns were heard?
The right to vote is a fundamental bedrock of American democracy, and it is a crucial tool in the ongoing battle against systemic racism.
The biggest problems in Metro Atlanta, specifically areas with higher Black populations.
As the primaries have highlighted, race is certainly a factor in our election system. Is this truly a government by the people, for the people? And if not, could a more representative, multi-party democracy help get us there?
The two-party system in the United States, we believe, is a major contributor to structural racism.
George Chung runs More Equitable Democracy, a nonprofit focused on racial equity in elections. He says that our winner-take-all system, dominated by two main parties, has historically underserved communities of color.
Really, there is one party that is just generally hostile to anything related to racial equity and believes, generally speaking, that they have no way to attract more votes of color. So they just pretty much do anything they can to undermine the participation of communities of color. And then the other party pretty much can say, we're here for you, we're not them, we're better, so who else do you have to vote for? And so that creates a really untenable situation where people of color feel like they really have no choice.
Congress is more diverse than ever, yet just over 20% of voting members are racial or ethnic minorities, in a country where about 40% of the population is non-white. The history of the Oval Office speaks for itself. Issues of voting inequities have repeatedly become lawsuits between Democrats and Republicans. In 2018, the Supreme Court held in place Texas voting maps that Democrats argued weakened the growing voting power of minorities. A year later, the court barred challenges to partisan gerrymandering altogether. George argues that a potential solution would be a proportional, multi-party system for the U.S. House of Representatives, where instead of a winner-take-all between a Democrat or Republican, candidates from, say, 4 to 5 parties would compete and hold power. The number of seats allocated proportionally to the votes won by each party. This kind of representation would be similar to the systems in Ireland and Australia. Candidates for those parties could also compete for U.S. Senate seats and the White House using ranked choice voting, where voters list out their preference in order, and the winning candidate is determined by rank. These elections would not be proportional, though, since the offices are designed for single winners.
We probably would still have a center-left political party at Democrats. We would have a center-right political party. I would call them an old school Republican Party that really doesn't exist anymore. We probably would have a Tea Party or other very nationalistic party further to the right, and then maybe 1 or 2 parties further to the left.
Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Say what?
I think that this would provide an opportunity for a new party that really truly embraces racial equity as its main value to really rise and really be the home for people of color who just feel disaffected by the two-party system.
Minority political parties have historically existed, but their success in elections is often fleeting. Take the Raza Unida Party in the 1970s, which was comprised of Latinx political leaders in Texas and other southwestern states.
They were able in certain city councils to win all of those seats because they were the majority. But once again, the challenge of a winner-take-all system puts pressure for those small political parties to really try to contest within the structure of the two-party system, as opposed to really blossoming and being able to really embody the hopes and dreams of communities of color because they have a path to building real political power.
There's no constitutional precedent for a two-party system. In fact, it doesn't say anything about political parties at all. George Washington went so far as to speak out against them, but by the time he left office, 2 parties had formed, and we've operated that way ever since.
If we really think about the challenges that we face in terms of reconciling with our racist history, having an electoral system that it's at its core, it's about who sets the agenda and what policies that we pass and govern ourselves. We need to have equity built into that system, because without that, then communities of color and other minority groups will be forever on the outside, and we'll never get to a system that really embraces racial equity and provides real opportunity for all of our communities.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.